know that it's a confinement film. Like a lot of it did take place in the post. Like, what were the challenges of that, and how did you overcome them?
I think the biggest thing was getting the set right. So when you're only doing one room, there's no excuse to have a bad set. And it's lucky I sort of came from an art department background, so I oversaw all the sort of production design and stuff. So I made sure it looked good. So yeah.
That's good. And the actors, you wanna raise your hands? How was it for you guys getting into character? How was the process?
I hated his guts.
Yeah,
basically,
it's
pretty simple.
His method, so it's fine. I don't know.
Was it interesting working in such an intimate cast?
Yeah, I was really lucky actually. I didn't know Billy before, but we were living together at the same time as we were filming together, so we were pretty much spending 24 hours a day together, which was amazing for me as a young actor. I just graduated drama school and I did this, so obviously Billy's been doing it for years, so I could learn loads from him and really get to know him in time. So that was a bit of a perk.
We sort of bounced off each other fairly well. But I remember before we went into production, Anthony and I talked about the character, and there was the thing about insane people don't think they're insane, and they don't think they're doing crazy things. They just believe what they're doing. So it was really a simple journey.
Well, you both did splendid. I thoroughly enjoyed your performances. And is the composer here?
Hello.
Yes. Hi. How's it going? I felt like music was actually like its own character in this film, the music and the sound. Could you tell me more about what inspired the music?
I tried learning trumpet earlier that year, and then Ant got me on board to do the film, and I was sitting there thinking, right, we have no budget. I can't get an orchestra. I've got some sort of fairly basic editing software and a trumpet and a drum machine, and it pretty much came together from that, and I just sampled myself playing sort of fairly tuneless trumpet, which I thought personally worked quite well.
Really,
it's kind of kooky film. It's got a
absolutely
slightly wacky soundtrack to it too.
Awesome.
And do you have a sequel planned or anything else set in that universe?
Good question. I don't actually, but I always joked that when Mason shoots himself and sort of disintegrates, but the sequel to start with him sort of appearing on a beach, a warm nice beach somewhere, just brushing himself off. I'm glad I got out of that one.
Who would you say influenced you to write this script, start this project?
Well, definitely Cronenberg. The early stuff, Videodrome, just weird, sort of unusual things.
John Carpenter.
Yeah, John Carpenter. There's a bit of a thing there. Yeah, definitely. The sort of thing. I mean, the sort of reason we sort of said it in the Arctic is we didn't have much money, so I thought we've got to do a lot with a little. So we've got to try and create some value within the budget. So hence we did all the bits in Scotland and stuff. So I didn't just set it in a council house or something. What would be the first thing you'd sort of be tempted to do if you didn't have any money?
Really?
What was your budget?
My sales agent would kill me if I told you that. But it wasn't very much at all. Yeah, you'd be very surprised. A lot of favours.
Speaking of budget, who are the producers?
Yes, hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey.
So could you give up and coming filmmakers, some advice if they were working on a little budget and they have this great creative idea? What advice would you give them in making a movie?
Wow, I mean, there's no hard fast rule to that, really, is there? I mean, I think you've got to go with your creation, really, because you work out the logistics and the finances of it afterwards. But you've got to start with something that you believe in, because nobody else will, and you'll be told no so many times, and you'll have so many obstacles coming your way that unless you really know it and believe in it, then you're screwed, really. I mean, obviously, if you know people who are wealthy, or if you've got ways to investments and stuff like that, then that's all really, really helpful. But you've got to get going, and you've got to own projects that you own with your life and with your heart, I would say.
And find the right team. We became very much like a family, which I think is why it worked so well and diminished any problems. So it was very important.
Great.
Congratulations, guys! Great film, really enjoyed it. Anthony, what, in hindsight, what would you say was the single biggest obstacle that you had to overcome to make this film? And how did you overcome it?
I think the budget, really.
But someone handed you a bag.
Yeah, no, it wasn't big enough. No, for me, you know, I just look at the effects and I'd do all those differently. You know, now, I'd say they were. I mean, also we were straight out of film school. We didn't know about deliverables. We didn't know about. There's a lot of laws and sort of crazy madness, you know, that they don't tell you about till you get to post. And we had to spend a lot of money sorting all that out.
So just stuff that you learned along the way that, in hindsight, would have been advantageous to know
Definitely,
before.
yeah. And I think that's what all this is about. It's about spreading information and knowledge, and so people know that if they are going to go out and make a film, but they need to get over. You know, we did all the release forms and stuff, but just all about file formats and just the not the deliverables, you know, international stuff, an international marketplace. You know.
Cool.
Up to the shoot is really only half of the process. You've then got another half to go, haven't you? And until you know that.
How do you all feel about spiders?
I hate spiders. That's obviously where that came from. Yeah.
It's delicious meat, though.
Voice of experience.
Were you working on anything else?
We are actually. We should start shooting our next feature film next month, which we're fully funded for. It's called Artificial Horizon, and it's a sort of another containment-ish film, but we've learned a lot commercially from this film, you know, what not to do. So it's a bit more action-adventure-y, sci-fi. We're moving forward.
The audience?
Are there any more screenings of this?
This is the only one, because we actually released on Monday. We've got
DVD goes on sale on Monday.
DVD, Blu-ray, and everything. So yeah. So it's actually
Christmas
absolutely
presents.
perfect. I think someone should ask Mike something about the editing, really.
What would you like to ask Mike about?
What's your biggest challenge with editing this film?
What was your biggest challenge of editing the film?
Probably the pace of it and maintaining the interest trapped in that one place, and also the interactions between the actors and the characters and stuff, and figuring out was a bit of a it's good though, because we did it like little bits at a time stuff, and also the fact that it's feature length as well, you know, that seems very daunting at the beginning, but then when you break it down to individual scenes, they all pile up into one whole thing, and it just so it's good.
We were very fortunate as well that we had Mike on set for most of the shoot, so the sort of the dialogue could be going as we were creating, but also just practically if we missed something or did something wrong, then we could reshoot it after lunch.
Awesome. Is there anything else? Is there another question?
How long did you shoot over?
It was 3 weeks for the main bulk of stuff, and then we went up to Scotland and we did 3 days in Scotland, which absolutely mental. So we had to literally climb a mountain every day, and you realise how little you can shoot, because it was middle of winter, so daylight was really sparse, and that body we had to carry all the way up the mountain. You know, part of us wanted to just leave it there. But we thought,
It's like about as heavy as a real person.
So you learn a lot very quickly.
And what was the casting process like?
It was really good, actually. I think Luke should probably answer that question.
Yeah.
I'm Luke. Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. We had a friend, Sam Chandley, who has cast for years, so we got the pull of all the agents, and it was amazing actually. It was lovely with both parts, because on the page it's a totally different. It's a completely different thing to look at it on the page as opposed to that, and with both of the guys, we weren't sure entirely what we wanted until we saw them, and then job done. Really, it was amazing.
Awesome. And is there anything else anyone would like to say? Anything about the film that we haven't talked about?
Thanks for coming. Yeah, it's a big privilege for us. Yeah. You know, it's our first thing, like Anthony said, out of film school. First time we've come together as a team and taken the next step up to the big boys arena, if you like.
And we know it's not a perfect film, and we're so glad that it's got this far, you know. So it's really appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys. Give them another round of applause.